Greeting, Ray Witch here. So today I want to talk about 3 races that I use to test vehicles. Now, these are 3 simple races, just regular Rockstar created races. There's no stunt jumps, no fire, no craziness, none of that, any transforming or whatever, just regular plain races. And so anyone can use these to test out vehicles, and if you're needing something to test them out, I strongly recommend using these 3. Now this first one is Muscle In. This is a pretty short lap race, 1.69 miles, and I like it because when you first take off, it gives you a long distance to get up to full speed to test out the acceleration, to pretty much know how the car is going to handle and then take off. So you got that right there out of the gate. And then you have this real fast, quick left turn. Now this turn right here is pretty much what I will use to determine if I want this car or not. Because if it cannot handle that turn, then I pretty much don't want this vehicle. Because there's a lot of those turns in races, and if you can't handle that, that's pretty much a good sign that the car doesn't really have good handling. Now after that, there's a few other little areas through here that are pretty cool for testing the vehicle. You get a little bit of an uphill right here for torque, but it's really not so much. It's a short track, so this is more just for testing out how the vehicle turns, the acceleration, stuff like that. Just get you a basic idea of how the vehicle's going to take off, turn, and those types of things. You're not really going to get too much more out of this racetrack, but for learning just the basics of the car, I love this track for it, because right here we're all the way back to the beginning, and I know pretty much a good bit of what this car is going to do handle-wise. So that's my first race that I'll do. And if it passes that one, I'll bring it into this one. Now this is Dipping In. Now if you've watched any of my review videos, you've pretty much seen this in videos all the time. And this race I really like a lot because it has a little bit of everything. The only thing that this is lacking is some off-road parts. Other than that, everything else is taken care of. This first part right here it's pretty straight with a little bit of turns, but it's all uphill, so it's great for testing out the torque of a vehicle. And this works out great for off-road vehicles too. Even though there's really not an off-road part in this per se, it does help test them out in there, having this torque right here. And the uphill, quick turns, it'll let you know if it's going to roll over or anything like that. But for any car, I'll take it into this one after it makes it through the first race, Muscle In. Because those 2 races, you can pretty much use any car you want. So I'll test them all out in this. But this one right here is usually the one that makes it into the videos just because it has the most time amount. Because it takes about 2 minutes to do a lap on this track, and it's a pretty good size one, so you don't really want to go more than 3 laps. This gets pretty boring. But there is a lot of good parts in it, especially this area coming through right here. It's kind of dead man's curve, and this part right here is one of my favorites where you just get up to a huge amount of speed on this downhill. If you've got something that's got a great top end, it just flies down this hill. This is a really good part for a race, especially you got 4 or 5 cars all in this one area. And like the last race, this one right here, if it can't make that turn right there, I really don't want the car, because if it can't handle that turn after doing the first turn that was a little bit slower in the first race, then it's not something I'm going to want. But you got this long straight part right here all the way back to the beginning, and this is a good way to testing out a little bit more on the torque and top end, because this is more of a flatter uphill kind of deal, something like that. But yeah, I really do like this race. It's got pretty much everything you need in it for testing out a vehicle. And once I finish this one, if I still need another race to test out how it's going to work, then I'll bring it into this one. Now this one's 8-figure bonus, and this one's 1.7 miles, and it's a great little quick race. It's kind of a sloppy figure 8 in a sense, but this is probably my favorite regular race out of any of the game. I will do 20 laps on this one, no problem, and just have a blast. This one I normally just keep for sports classics, and little short, fast cars like that, because it is a short track and there's a lot of quick turns. But it just seems like the perfect track for that type of cars. And I love driving this one. It's a really good one for competitive racing. Can't get too many people to want to do these old races like this anymore. Everybody wants to do stunt races and all those other craziness. But this is where the cars are, the best. This way it feels to me, because you're having all of the imperfections of the road and all that, and usually most of the stunt races are just perfectly flat and don't have any bumps or any craziness you have to worry about. And I feel that it makes a better driver for you to be able to do these types of races. And this turn right here is an awesome turn. I've seen so many people eat it right into that wall across there. But I love this film. Alright, well this is Grey Witch. I hope this video helps you out, and hopefully these races will help you out for testing out your vehicles. So I will see you next time. Peace!